Good evening, everyone. How's everyone doing tonight? And welcome to another edition of Legends from the Past and the Future. We have a extraordinary guest tonight. All right, she's in the studio waiting to be brought on. However, before we get to her, I want to make a mention about young Tyler Womack. Tyler Womack, we had on the show on two different occasions. Found out that he is now received an offer to go to the Naval Academy. This young man is 17 years old, 4.0 GPA, just a humble, excellent, outstanding young man. And when you see him, please give him some love. Show him some love and give him some support. But not to delay the process any longer, we are going to bring her on. I have Miss Faye Belt just waiting to come on. How you doing, Miss Belt? How you doing, Miss Belt?
I'm blessed, young man. How are you?
I'm doing great. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Good. It's good to see you, and I'm glad you accept the call to come on.
It's my pleasure.
So what we do on this show, we go back, we revisit the past and work our way to the forward to the present. So we're gonna go back to way back when you were growing up. Where were you born and raised at?
I was born in Dr. Faye Allen's office, and I was raised primarily, my mother and dad moved to Millersville, what we call on the hill, to the farm. And they left there. We went to Sherwood Forest. We lived out beyond the gates in the slave houses. And we were raised there. And I went to Parole. We went to Parole Elementary School. And then in the 60s, my mother and father acquired some property from Mr. and Mrs. Stepney in Crownsville on the corner of Hawkins and Crownsville Road. So that is where we grew up there.
Awesome. And you went to school where?
Parole Elementary. And then one year I went to South Shore, just 1 year.
South Shore.
Graduated from Parole.
Wow. So did you attend Annapolis Senior High School or Bates? Bates.
No, I did not. No,
okay.
We lived on the corner. So on that corner was a line, and we had an opportunity. My mom set us down and asked us where we wanted to go, and she thought it was best that we go to Arundel High School. Well, Lord and behold, at Arundel High School, guess what? A lot of my family was there. So I went to Arundel High School and Arundel Senior High. Graduated at Arundel Senior High.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And after high school, did you go to college?
After high school, I went to work. No, I did not. I was very what is it? What was that? I didn't want to do it at that time, And so I went to work with my dad at the National Plastic Plant. It wasn't for me. Opened my eyes really early, and then I ended up going to Crownsville. And at Crownsville, when I was there, my supervisor saw so much greatness in me, along with my mother, and I went to nursing school.
Okay.
At the nursing school, I took.
Okay. Well, I want you to tell us about Faye's Angel Network. Well, what is that?
Okay, Faye's Angel Network. When I graduated from nursing school, LPN school, 1977, I was out playing sports, big time, tomboy. And my mother asked me to bring her some snacks that she left at home. The wall rotary phone was ringing. I did not want to answer it because I was playing softball. So when I answered the phone, and I went down to Cumberstone Road, and I knew the beauty and all the atmosphere my mom doing private duty. So I left that and went to do private duty and fell in love with taking care of the elderly. But one of my clients said to me, Faye, you're an angel. Why don't you name your community? Your business, get a business and get some cards. Faye's Angel Network. So as
Hmm.
I on, I had people working with me, and we created Faye's Angel Network, and that's how we started taking care of the elderly 24 hours a day. And then
Wow.
I had to sit down and decide how we're going to do a 12-hour shift, 14-hour shifts, things of that nature. People who wants to work weekends and so on and so forth. So that's how I started my business,
That's awesome.
in
That's
which I
awesome.
truly,
Now,
truly love. I'm gonna tell you, I love taking care of people.
well, I see you have over 51 years of experience. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes, I had 51 years of experience. Yes, I'm trying to retire right now because I have
Okay.
another passion, and that passion is to create the vision that God gave to me. And so that is Crownsville.
Well, we're gonna get there. Okay, I appreciate that, man, and that is just an awesome vision. Now
Okay.
let's rewind and tape just a little bit. You said you played softball. So,
Yes, I played softball, and I started with the Young and the Restless, and then we went to was Group Two, Red Dub,
mhm,
and I was a center fielder. My nickname was Cricket.
mhm.
I could track balls, and a couple times I would throw from home. I mean, throw from center field, bypass, and hit the home plate. So I played
Wow.
softball for a few years, both for
Okay.
years. Yeah. Again, I was a tomboy. Football.
Yeah. Yeah. So they I don't know the name of the team, but Maynard was a coach of one of the did you play with him or did you go up against him or
Young and the Restless did go up against Maynard. Yes. Our team was quite a few relatives and people that went to Arundel High School. And
Mhm.
Clarence Queen was one of our coaches, which was my relative. Yeah. And we
Okay.
went to the playoffs. Did we win the playoffs at the end? No, we did not. But it was a great experience.
That's what I'm talking about. As long as you had a great
Yeah.
experience, that's all that matters. Now, let's talk briefly about women of color scholarships. What is that all about?
Women of color um, came from a young lady named Marguerite, and she went to Mount Tabor Church along with my mother and a few other women that were at Mount Tabor. And
Hmm.
what they did was they created a cohesiveness of women who had scholarships for people of color. And what they
Hmm.
did, we got together and we went out to different colleges. Like, let's use Morgan State, full
Okay.
scholarship. Howard University, full scholarships. Other colleges, part scholarships. Anywhere from four
Wow.
years to $1,000, $3,000 that was given to women. And
Hmm.
as we proceeded with that, it was a beautiful affair. And it's very enlightening, very fulfilling to watch and listen to the people, the young girls come forth and receive these scholarships. And then my father asked my mother one day, 'cause he was such helpfulness with getting things together, supporting my mom. He said to
Hmm.
her one day, "What about men?" And he says, "Let it start with me." My mother
Yes.
took that idea to the women, and then we had female and male that receiving scholarships. Yes.
Wow. Wow.
So that's what
That's
women of
awesome.
color.
So if I can just interrupt briefly, this is something that is on the plate with the legends of the past and future team. Something that we would like to do. First of all, become nonprofit and raise enough money to where people like Tyler Womack, who's going to college, at least
Hmm.
if we can't get a scholarship to put money in their pocket because it's tough being a student in college and you can't work. But
Yes.
I'll talk about that later. So we're gonna get back to you, okay? You you were a member of Galesville Community Center. What is the Hot Sox all about?
Oh, the baseball. Well, as a little girl, my Uncle Neri, which is William Belt, he was a pitcher.
Hmm.
And then I had Uncle Nelson, who was a catcher, and my dad and my other uncle played. When we were children, we used to go down to Galesville. And
Okay.
back in the day, you had to get there to go across that little river there to
Yeah.
get there. So we
Yes.
was down in Galesville, and it was amazing. As a child, we watched the game so much, but I was interested in going picking up the little caps and putting your bicycle wheels. And I remember the
Right.
hot dogs. And I know it was a lot of people there. But as we grew, my
Yes.
relatives like Wendell Belt, Joseph Belt III, which we call Peanut, my brother Donnie, Meaty,
Mhm.
they all joined the Hot Sox team. And after then, we really got involved. So that's the Hot Sox. And now, as you know, they have a legend now, and they are known there because of historical documentation saying that they were the Hot Sox team. And of course, they're celebrating Gertrude's Way,
Yes.
which
Yes.
is
Yes.
now a part of the Hot Sox.
Awesome. Awesome. So now, while participating with the Hot Sox, you also were singing in a choir. Uh, uh, how was that experience? The extensions of faith.
Ooh. Yeah, 32 years. I sang with Extensions of Faith. They were together for 35 years. They came to Mount Tabor Church, and I listened to them, and I was so enamored and so caught up into the spiritualness of the Holy Spirit. So I
Yes.
went that Monday, and I went to
Mhm.
rehearsal, and I been dedicated for all those years. I loved it. I love to sing for the Lord. I love the Holy Spirit and what it means to us to minister to people. We just don't sing the songs. When
Mhm.
we sing, you see in us the light and the energy that comes with
Yes.
us to praise the Lord. So
Amen.
we
Yes.
just had our last concert at the book signing of Antonio Hilton. They accommodated me by volunteering to come
Mhm.
and sing at the book signing. Yeah,
That's awesome.
at
Now that
Indian
book
Creek.
signing,
So
the
yes,
book signing is going to be where now?
the book signing now, the new one is going to be on the 27th of April at
Hmm.
Barnes and Noble in Annapolis at 5:30, 5:30 to about 7:30. And so if the people want to attend this, I would say come an hour early because of the fact that it's going to be limited space inside.
Okay.
And at that
Okay.
book signing, I'm going to invite uh, quite a few people that are in the book in case anyone have any questions and so on and so forth.
Okay. 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 Now, would you like to mention any names of that committee? It's a committee, correct? Or
Yes, as we know, Madness is by a young lady, as we all know. So her name is Antonia Hilton, and Antonia
Mhm.
Hilton is the correspondent in NBC at MSNBC, and she's
Okay.
the author of the New York Times bestseller. She's the fourth on the totem as far as bestsellers for Madness,
Yes.
Race,
Yes.
and
Yes.
Insanity and Jim Crow Asylum. So she also won a Peabody and Emmy. 3 years, Crownsville was in existence. Coming aboard to talk about the
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we having some technical difficulties right now, but we're gonna fix that so that we can get back with Miss Faye Belt, and she can continue on with her interview. Uh, Miss Belt.
I don't know what happened, but nevertheless, it's going to be in Annapolis, and she's going to do some book signing there. And
Yes.
at in the book signing, and if people have questions and answering, I will be on with her. I will be at the book signing, and people can ask both of us questions. And I'm also
Okay.
going to invite several people that's featuring in the book.
Okay. Okay. Now, I did make an attempt to reach out to her. I was going to try to surprise you by having her on this cast tonight, the show tonight. Uh,
She's working.
yes, yes.
We text back and forth today.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Now, you live Chesapeake Beach, correct?
No, I live in a community that was all a community of people of color that
Hmm.
was established in 1940.
Okay.
They discovered in 1939, but 1940 it became Columbia Beach Improvement Association. And now
Columbia.
we are very well integrated. Back in
Yeah.
those days, they had people who were from Washington, D.C. and PG County, all people of status that lived here and created this wonderful sacred community. And
Yes.
now
Yes.
we have people from all over the world that's here.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So now, what do you do as far as an activist with Columbia Beach?
Well, my mother moved here since 1982. And when we moved here, my mother and father, because it was a summer community. So my parents, knowing that my mom, that's who I take after,
Mhm.
as my mom is a socialite.
Okay.
And she went around, introduced herself, met people, created a lot of different things, organizations here, getting them more involved because they kind of like fell back a little bit. So
Yeah.
whatever my mom wanted to do, we created meals, we played music, we got involved in Columbia Beach Day, and ever since then, I've been truly involved in my mom's. Walking in her shoes, and my father.
Awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
creating, a lot of activities and things of that nature.
Okay. Okay. Now, is that the CBCIA?
CBCIA, yeah, Columbia Beach Improvement Association.
Okay. And you were the president, right?
Yes, I was a president. They asked me to be the president. I was like, oh no, I'm not doing that because I know it's stressful. So I
Yeah.
prayed on it and I took the assignment, and it was during the COVID. And a
Okay.
lot of things was happening. So it gave me an opportunity to sit back and read from 1973 up until the present. And I brought books here and I literally speed read through and found out all the things that was happening and what we needed to move forward in to make our community very safe and go forward and all the
Yeah.
things that we need for our shoreline and so on and so forth. So I learned a lot during that time, and I had wonderful people assisting me, but it's volunteer. So I ended up doing
Absolutely.
a lot of stuff myself. So
Ab- Mhm.
we left an amazing mark on the community, and that's where Vince Lakin comes in,
Okay.
and that was the Maryland Historical Trust that he walked me through, and I learned. So sometime this year of 2024, we will be receiving the Miracle Historical Trust. And
Mm.
then also, Linda Marshall came towards me and she says, you got to leave something for Columbia Beach. And that's when Lendra assisted me and helped me through, because she was involved in Columbia Beach years ago doing documentaries. So that's when she helped me to design and the first African American heritage and cultural site in Anne Arundel County.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's so we have a sign that's out there that talk
Yeah.
about our establishment and who we are today.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, who was responsible for Columbia Beach Day? I've had the experience of being a part of that a couple of years, and whoever puts that together do an amazing job. Who was responsible for putting that together?
Well, during my administration, the president and the people who are assigned to activities, and over the years, we had people doing and having committees to do that. It's,
Okay.
as you know, it's an awesome time. It's all in what you put into it and things of that nature. During my presidency, I had my choir, I had Caribbean music. We did a lot of holidays together, from Halloween to other things that we have created for our community. And it's, as you know, because you were here, it's an awesome thing. It's a whole community.
Yes.
It's open, and you don't have to ask people, "Can I come to your home?" You just show up
Just show up.
and you open
Absolutely.
your arms. Everybody's welcome. and it's an entire weekend. And what I love about it is on Sundays, as Sheila Austin and her husband Greg, they have amazing from July the 1st all the way till the last holiday worship at the chapel on the water.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes. It's just awesome. It's a great way to spend time together. The whole community. The fireworks display, everything.
Right.
It's just awesome. Now let's circle back around to Crownsville.
Okay.
What inspired the writing of the book Madness?
Well, Antonia Hilton. Since 2018, she was inspired because she had mental illness in her family, and she did some research while she was in college. And she went on the internet, on Facebook. I don't know how she did it, but she found me because I had Crownsville as my workplace. So when she called me, I was not ready. I didn't know that COVID was out. We never knew what it was. I was very ill during that time. Yeah. And so the third time when she connected with me, I says, I'm ready. And I talked for 2.5 hours. And she was amazed that from my version, the beautification of Crownsville as a child, and knowing the history, me being involved, working as a young lady, babysitting, and also working in the canteen, and just getting involved in the beautification and atmosphere there with my family, and becoming a nurse as I progressed, and learning and just getting involved with a lot of people of stature that were people of color and from around the world. So I helped to create a Zoom. And I wrote down, I called people. We had 33 people on our first Zoom with Antonia Hilton.
Wow.
And I was the mediator. And after that, she came to Crownsville to say my name. So whenever she comes, I usually pick her up and I have an agenda for her. And that day that she went to say my name at my mother's house, we had 20-something people.
Yeah.
And she started recording. And I told her, young lady, just at the beginning, all at the same time, when Crownsville closed, I would pray as I ride through to ask God to open it back up again, no matter what was coming. I would walk around, I would drive around and pray. And so the young lady that wrote the book, and now that the Crownsville is given to Stuart Pittman, as we know, it's reopening. So they have different groups that are together trying to make a safe healing place. So myself, Linger, and powerful other women and people who are in the book, we have a committee, and we have reached out to different organizations. I mean, ACT, we have people from University of Maryland, doctors, we have people from organizations, different cultures that want to come and make a safe haven. We have people that also want to do the gardening, whether you have a wheelchair or whatever. We have a young woman, 2 young women that are lighted. I mean, they're like thunder and lightning. They just roll. You tell them what you want, and they just take it and they just create. And that's what I love about it, because as you know, we're in that 70s, 80s, and 90s. So we have to leave a history for the young generation. And the people who are supporting us, along with the Black Caucus, and along with other people, Loomis, Miss Health, and other people that are coming aboard, these 2 young ladies are going to take what they're doing and take it seriously to continue the story and the legacy. And we have to make Crownsville and realize that in the 60s, when the Blacks came aboard, through Dr. Mackenzie Phillips, that there was the healing. So we don't want to whitewash this. We want to leave our historical of who we are and what's changed this Negro insanity abuse. So that is where we are right now. So keep us in prayer, because God is moving as we go forth to create this safe healing place.
Yes. Now this is a committee. How many people are on the committee?
Right now, on the committee that we are having right now, we have, I want to say anywhere from 12 to 15. because we just had a meeting the other night, and several other people that are into the psychiatric area of healing, psychiatry, and psychology, are coming aboard from University of Maryland.
Wow, that's amazing. That's
Hmm.
amazing. You know, where do you normally have your meetings at? Is it by way of Zoom, or do you go into a building somewhere and meet together?
Well, since we had just started and God has poured so many people, we're going to meet tomorrow, and we're going to formulate a format and
Hmm.
tablets. And we will be meeting at a church. Why a church? Because in that church, strongholds are broken.
Yes.
As we move forward, we're going to be in a
Yes.
sacred place, not a place that everyone
Hmm.
comes in and doesn't pray.
Come on
And
now.
so where we're going, the young lady that has spearheaded for us, we will be going twice a month, and other people are also coming aboard. That we what we're going to do as a unit and as a
Hmm.
group to
Hmm.
create the healing of Crownsville.
That is really amazing. You know, my mother, she worked there for so many years. And this is the book, everyone, Madness. I've been reading it, and you know, this is really, it's awesome. It's awesome. You know, you can hardly put it down.
Yeah,
You
well,
know,
thank you.
yes, yes. So now, you just recently received the Michelle Obama Award. Is that correct?
Yes, yes. Let me say this to you, young man. I came home and I was Linda and I, Marshall. We had just finished uh, going to a workshop, and I was mentally, emotionally exhausted. And the Holy Spirit says, "Look at your email." I was like, "Nah, not tonight," because once I start reading, I would never put it down. So when I read it, I couldn't believe it. And I called Linda and she bust out laughing. She just laughed. And I have been so humble. It never really registered to me until the day of. The day of, I
Yeah.
was a nervous wreck.
Mhm.
I was sick. I'm not even going to tell you. And I couldn't even talk. But once I met the women and went up on stage and looked out in the audience, I said, "This is real."
Yeah.
And I was really, really humble. I'm still humble. I just say, God, just use me for what you want to use me for. It's not
Yeah.
about me. What
Yeah.
are you gonna do with me today when I wake up? Use me, show me, pour into me. And
Mm.
that's what we're doing to receive that award, and an award for equity and diversity and inclusion. And they all three are related to one another. So it's
Hmm.
the values that's held by the organization as I've been involved with all throughout my life, and working together and be supportive for different groups and individuals or people of different races.
Yeah.
It's for races and religions and all the things that we're doing for the goals that we're going to meet for the award that we all 14 of us have received. And I am just so honored, and I take this
Yeah.
assignment very seriously.
Yes. 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 Well, you know, you're a very humble person, and
Thank you.
definitely someone that can be followed. You know, if anyone wanted to contribute to what you guys are doing, how can they do that?
They can contribute by, well, we're working on a 501c. And
Hmm.
then right now, what we need is people who wants to volunteer. Let's say you have an organization
Hmm. Hmm.
and you have 540 acres that are there.
Yeah.
So they're going to be doing paths and like bike trails and
Hmm.
walkways, and they're going to remove a couple of buildings they're going to create. So there are people, like, let's say, housing for girls and boys, and get yourself together and
Yeah.
come and want to join to help create these spaces. And one of the
Hmm.
things we want to do is we want people who are artists. We
Hmm.
want some people of color to come in. If you have a business, you have something you want to do, connect with us. Linda and myself and a few others, as we go forth, because we are creating this safe haven. And we got to realize that the people our Black community, we have a
Mhm.
lot to say. We have a lot to put in. If you're a
Yes.
psychiatrist, psychologist, or nurse or whatever, we need you. We need
Mm.
you. And people of other races, like they cannot, through my years at Crownsville, I noticed that, and I've learned because I worked at Spring Grove, and I've
Mhm.
learned when I was in the medication unit. And I learned that people of color cannot take certain medicine. Certain people of other races cannot take certain medicine. So we need people of different race and ethnic groups to come forward, like Dr. Phillips used to have back in the day, Mackenzie Phillips.
Mhm.
People who were from um, India, people who were from other countries, from Jamaica, wherever they were coming from, to work there to do the MS and D3 to get
Mhm.
them the proper diagnosis, but also the proper medication, the proper treatment. Because if
Yeah.
you don't know the background of a patient, then you will not understand who they are to treat them.
Yes, yes, yes. You have your hands in quite a bit, quite a bit. So, out of everything that you're doing, what really makes you feel just the excitement of being a part of the most?
Mm, what makes me? I think the healing part, watching my mother.
Yes.
As I watch my parents,
Mhm.
my dad, my mother as a child, we saw them working together. We saw them making decisions together. We watched my parents create.
Mhm.
My mother used to ride around. My parents used to ride around on Sundays, and we would throw pennies over us at the fountain over at Herndale Mall, and she would
Yeah.
tell us to dream. My mother and dad was a dreamer. My mother and dad, whatever they wanted, they strived for it. They raised a lot of children from Annapolis. Their home was a safe haven for
Mhm.
all, like Leslie Stanton, all of us, the midshipments.
Mhm.
A lot of people came to my mother's house, and we sang, had a good time. We
Mhm.
didn't know that we was poor. She said we was poor. We didn't know. All we knew was we ate cheese sandwiches. We
Yeah.
had, my father had a garden. We ate at the garden, and we had a wonderful time. So that what makes me and gives me the
Yeah.
initiative to move on, because of my family. Not only my family with my mom and dad, but my extended family. We
Mhm.
all grew up old school,
Mm.
and that's what motivates me, because we pour into one another. It's just not about you. We
Mhm.
are a unity of a family. The Belts, the Hamiltons, the Queens, the Quarles, the Smiths, the
Yes.
Dorsey, and so on and so forth.
Yes.
We
Yes.
still, young man, get together today and communicate about what it
Yeah.
is.
That's
And the
beautiful.
only thing I can say lastly is get a foundation of who he is above us, and that's God.
Ah, yes, yes. Which well, you just took me to my final question to you. Uh, there's a lot of lost children out there. There's a
Yeah.
lot. This. It's just not like it used to be when we came up. The cohesiveness, the village. If there was anything that you want to leave that's encouraging to our children out there, not even children, some adults too, what would it be?
I feel and I know from the way we were raised,
Mhm.
everything starts at home. You
Yes.
want the teachers to do it? No. Everything starts at home, from reading to morals to standards. And everything that we are today starts at home. And you put things on especially the parents. The
Mhm.
children can't raise themselves.
Yeah.
These cell phones and things are distractions for the children. You're not taking the time. It's not about you. It's about the legacy in which you pour into your children. And I
Mhm.
noticed that everything starts with God. The
Yes.
prayers we don't have
Say it.
anymore. The
Say
tables
it.
we don't eat together anymore. We sitting
Yes.
down looking at TV and eating in your lap. And
Yes.
you see them in the stores, and they texting instead of communicating. Put your phones down.
Mm.
And I think we should I don't think, I know that we need to bring back everything starting at home,
Yeah.
because it's not the children. The children are lost today because of us,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we fell short.
Mm.
That's the whole, to me, that's my take on it right
Yeah.
there, young man.
what more could be said? You have been a pleasure. It's been an honor, and I thank you for accepting the call to be on the show. And for everyone out there, we try giving you the best of the best. And you can support the show by purchasing stars on there. You see stars. You can send money to help the show continue to grow. You know, you can message me. I'll give you a cash app, and we can go from there. But there's a lot of things we want to do. We want to continue having people on the show like Miss Faye Belt, who has had an impact on the community and on the city, the whole city of Annapolis. She's done that. And I thank you again for being on the show. Is there anything you want to leave besides what you just got through saying?
Only thing I have to say is that everyone that's on this podcast right now, we know that we make a difference. Everyone that God has connected me with all through my life, I can say we continue to make that difference. We continue to be the village. We continue to teach all the children, all the things that's instilled in us. And one thing, and that is teach them who God is. And then once we teach them who God is, and no matter how they go up, no matter if they think they're failing, we know that we have to pour in them to let them know and what their worth are. Touch them, hug them, love them. They don't get the love that we got when we was coming up. So we have to be that village to raise everyone. And I want to thank everyone. And like Mr. Wallace says, pour into his podcast, because if we don't pour into the podcast, then the message will be forgotten and it will be broken.
Amen. And there you have it. Miss Faye Belt, thank you again for being on the show. You can catch us every Wednesday. If you're out there on YouTube, subscribe to the show. The show is really growing. I had put out 3 weeks ago, we had 100 subscribers. Today, we have 1,030 subscribers.
Wow.
Over 27,000 viewers watching us. So it's been a blessing. We are reaching the mass, and we are feeding everyone awesome information, and that's what it's all about. Next week, we're going to have a songbird next week. Jeff Jacobs going to be on. We're gonna have him on the show next week, and same time, same channel, 8 o'clock. And I think I have a full team next week. I want to thank everyone for coming out, and someone I don't know who it is right now, but they said thank you, Miss Bell. Blessings to you. Avis Tucker, I know her. She's clapping and she's excited. The one thing that we can't do with StreamYard, unless they follow the instructions I send out, is see who it is making comments on Facebook. If they do what I had sent out, then I can see it, like Miss Avis Tucker. But anyway, see you next week, same time, same channel. Thanks for the support.
God's blessing. Have a best one. Bye-bye. See you next week.